So I secretly started filming videos in my dorm room, like without telling anybody. I started posting within 3 months. I had 100,000 followers on my YouTube channel. Because at the time, whenever I first started my channel, I was really having a hard time like monetizing it, to be honest. And so when I learned about LTK, I was like, wait, this is amazing. Like I can actually have control over my revenue and I can actually share what I love and I don't have to wait for a brand to hit my inbox. Like it was super empowering. The community is always first. And I've always thought of that with Divi. And even whenever we're doing like product development, I cannot make a decision without at least getting like probably 50 people's buy-in. Like even if it's like a fragrance, they're like, "What do you like it, Dani?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like it, but I want to hear if everybody else likes it too."
Welcome to More to Say. I'm Amber Venz Box, founder of the $2 billion creator commerce platform, LTK. I've spent the last 14 years pioneering the creator economy, and on this podcast, I'm giving you direct access to the knowledge and perspectives of some of today's most influential people. I want you to stay ahead of the curve, so pull up a seat because we are just getting started. Today's guest has a way of lighting up every space that she enters. Whether it's your screen, your feed, or your heart, she has a bold spirit, easy humor, and unapologetic realness. If you know her, you know what I'm talking about. You've probably seen her dancing through her stories as a mom, a wife, an entrepreneur. Maybe she's curating an affordable look, launching a new product, or sharing something deeply personal. We're talking about the incomparable Dani Austin. Dani's journey started with a camera, a college dorm room, and a willingness to get really real. Fast forward to now, she's built one of the most trusted personal brands in digital media and turned her vulnerability into a superpower. At the center of it all is Divi, her scalp health brand that's changing the beauty industry one drop at a time. What began as a personal struggle with hair loss has evolved into a multi-million-dollar brand carried at Ulta and Target, celebrated on social media and LTK, and backed by a community that believes in more than just the product. They believe in Dani. She's a master of blending the personal and the professional in a way that feels effortless, but make no mistake, this is strategy with soul. Dani has cracked the code on influence that lasts. She's not afraid to share the messy middle, speak openly about her faith, or experiment with new ideas in front of an audience of millions. And in a world that often rewards polish over presence, you know what I'm talking about, Dani reminds us that showing up as your full self is more than enough. It might just be your biggest asset. In today's conversation, we're diving into the real story behind the brand, how Dani balances being a founder, a creator, a mother, a wife, and why she believes that impact starts with intention. So let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Dani Austin. Well, Dani, we've known each other for more than a decade. You joined LTK back in 2014, which is when we really became friends. And you've been a creator for quite a while now. What originally drew you into this space?
I cannot believe it's been since 2014. That is wild. So I originally learned about the YouTube space through my brother. So my brother is 5 years older. He's a musician on YouTube, or he was a musician at the time, and he'd post his music online. And I always made fun of him because I thought it was like so silly that he had this, like all of his like online friends, and he was always creating vlogs and talking to people in the comments. And then one day he put me in a vlog on YouTube. This is like, I mean, I want to say this is probably 2008. Like it's so long ago. And, I started kind of like reading the comments and I just fell in love with the community. So I secretly started filming videos in my dorm room, like without telling anybody, and started posting them on my YouTube channel. Because this was like, you have to understand, this is before you had selfies. Like selfie was not even a term that people used yet. Nobody was like filming with their iPhone. It was just so different. And so I secretly started posting. Within 3 months, I had 100,000 followers on my YouTube channel. And
what were these videos?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So these videos my series was things I wish a sister taught me. So I would just talk about anything like I mean, girlhood, to be honest. Anything I was like learning in college or rushing a sorority or how to make friends, because my audience at the time was really young because I was in college. So I was like probably 18 or 19 years old. And my demo was 14, 13. And so I was trying to appeal to a very young audience. And but I didn't tell anyone. In fact, the only reason why my friends found out, I was at a music festival in Austin, ACL, and I had like a bunch of little girls run up to me like, "Oh my gosh, Dani, I watch your videos," and my friends were like, "What are they talking about?" So anyway, I fell in love with the YouTube space originally, and then it just kind of morphed. That's how I learned about the bloggers in Austin, like blogging. That's how I learned about LTK. Because at the time, whenever I first started my channel, I was really having a hard time like monetizing it. To be honest, I would get brand deals here and there, but I just really wanted that like free lip gloss that I could post about. We just did everything for like free product and just to, share cool things you were trying. And so when I learned about LTK, I was like, wait, this is amazing. Like I can actually have control over my revenue and I can actually share what I love and I don't have to wait for a brand to hit my inbox. Like it was super empowering. And so that's whenever kind of closer to like 2018, 2019 is when I really started focusing on like blogging and Instagram and LTK.
Well, it's interesting when you talk about the topic, which by the way, I love the name. What was it? Things I wish my sister told me, or what was it?
So I wish a sister taught me.
Okay. Honestly, I feel like that's super prescient because during that period, vulnerability wasn't really a part of like societal norms. Cause this is like really pre-blogging and vlogging being culturally normative. And I feel like this whole vulnerability era happened around definitely triggered by you. One of the things I was thinking about in our early relationship was there were several areas that I feel like you led the conversation in online, at least in my orbit. And I think probably much larger given that you have 2.5 million people who follow you across your platforms. I remember like the two core topics. The first one was just really around like body positivity. And then the second one was really around like hair loss and then wigs. Okay, can you tell me a little bit about, going back to body positivity for a minute, this was before that was a part of common vernacular. It definitely was outside of social norms to be talking about. Was that a growth moment for you, or was that a moment of like retraction in your followership? What happened?
Yeah, I've always found that when I'm vulnerable with my audience and I'm real with them, that's whenever I connect with them on this like next level that you really can't get by sharing like a product or by sharing a favorite. Like it's just this like next level connection that I just always really wanted more. And so, but yeah, being vulnerable and sharing what you're going through, it's definitely a dance because it's like, it's so healthy for me, but at the same time, boundaries are really healthy too. They're also just as powerful. And that's something that I've kind of had to learn the hard way, to be honest. Like, I think I actually, not to say I shared too much, but I think what I've learned is to start sharing from my scars instead of sharing from my open wounds. Because a lot of times I'd be going through something and I'm like, I don't know the resolution. I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know. And I would just spitball. And then I just had so many people's opinions thrown at me 24/7. And even with the body positivity, I mean, that was just something that wasn't talked a lot about. And I was so sick of seeing like these models, or I don't know about you, but I had to wait for like 17 magazine to come in the mail to get outfit inspiration when I was younger, like Teen Vogue, whatever. And as fun as it was, like I was just so sick of seeing like this like perfect person all the time. And it's so exhausting. And so I thought, okay, I wish I had a sister like that could kind of lead me in this vulnerability. Okay, I might as well be that girl. And that actually bled over to my hair loss. So like you said, this was like the era of like the hair extensions and the looking perfect 24/7. I think there's even like a meme of like a bunch of bloggers and we all literally like look the same because we're wearing the same exact high knee boots, same hair extensions, same, just like everybody looks the same.
I think it was like Christian Girl Fall. I'm pretty sure that was like a viral meme, but it was a real picture. I fully
It's a
remember
viral
that.
meme. Okay, people don't know the behind the scenes of that meme, but we were working with a brand and they like told us to wear all the, but still, like even so, we all pretty much look the same. And so, but I started to lose my hair around that time and it was pretty bad. Like, it was pretty severe hair loss. And I was so embarrassed. I didn't know, I didn't want to share with my audience because I had never really heard of like other females talking about hair loss before. I didn't know anybody wearing a wig. But I decided, okay, like if I have any chance at like having hair one day, I have got to give my hair a break. I had just added all those hair extensions. I was bleaching, the crap out of my hair, trying to make it look fuller, thicker. And it got to the point where I was just basically bald on both of these sides. And so, I secretly transitioned into wigs. I wore a wig for a month on Instagram, on stories, in life, and I didn't tell anyone. And because I was so scared. And but it got to the point
Remind
where
us
like
what year this was, because this was actually like deeply outside of what was happening. I mean, I remember, the clip-in hair extensions were very popular. Like you go to Sally, maybe you color for your hair, you buy them for your hair. That's what I knew across like college. And then of course people do like tape-ins, or now they have like the halo or whatever. But like a wig, this was like totally new. What year was that?
this is probably 2018, the end of 2018. I had just gotten married, I remember. And yeah, I woke up one day, I looked in the mirror and I said, babe, like I don't even want to leave the house. I'm so embarrassed. And my husband was like, he was so great about it. He was like, well, babe, like don't the Kardashians wear wigs? You can wear a wig. And I was like, Jordan, we live in Texas. Where am I going to get a wig? And but crazy enough, I had a friend that was getting married in LA. And so when I went out for the wedding, Jordan took me to a wig shop and we got my first wig. We named her Kim. And yeah, I didn't know anyone wearing wigs. I cried like every single night trying to figure out how to wash it, how to brush it. It's like, also, you have to realize these wigs, like when they're real human hair, they're over $1,000. They're outrageous. And it's like so scary trying to figure out how to brush them or style them. You don't want to ruin them. Like, so I watched a lot of YouTube videos of these like smaller creators. Like the wig community was really sweet to me. And yeah, so then I decided, I was like, you know what? I've found that every single time I'm going through something, so are other people. They're just not talking about it. So let me just share this and maybe it'll help a couple girls out. And what I found was this, like, once I shared it on my Instagram, it was like this hidden epidemic of women going through something similar. And there were so many that were actually also wearing wigs. This is the craziest story, but I found out my best friend at the time, she had full on alopecia. She'd been in wigs since she was 3, and she was my best friend for 2 years. And she had been wearing a wig since the day, since forever, and I had no idea. So it was just crazy. But I decided throughout that year, I was like, okay, you know what? I am going to really focus on my health, my wellness, share my journey, start working out, start eating right, take care of my mental health, and decided, okay, I'm going to also try to figure out how to grow my hair back. And we'll get into that later on, but that's kind of how Divi, our hair care company, was born.
Well, it's so organic, and I mean, we should go to it now because, well, by the way, what does Divi mean?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Divi is short for divine, and I just always really liked that word. And I just always really liked the name Divi. I just figured people wouldn't forget it. I wish I had a more like unique answer, but we looked up the word divine, and when I first saw it, I was like, okay, Divi.
It works. I like it. It's short. It's tight. The color is beautiful. Like when you see that color, you think of Divi. Of course, as a marketer, that's what you want to happen, right? Is like a color palette. I remember one time, like Starbucks had this like yellow color that they were doing. I was like, did they collab with Bumble? Like, there's just certain colors that just like mean a brand. Y'all have done an amazing job leaning into that. But with Divi, so I mean, today, just to fast forward, like you have, I think, over 2.5 million followers across social media platforms. You have 760,000 on LTK alone. 80,000 people come and follow you on LTK every year for the last 5 years. And I want to mention that like LTK following is not just like a social media following. Like they want to know what you are doing and keep up with you and have access to all the information. Like they're a different type of human than just like the passive social media following. So to me, that's like a huge standout. Of course, Forbes, we got to be on stage together. They actually named you a top Forbes creator and lifestyle blogging influencer of the year award. When I think back to like who is Dani, I do think back to that older sister, that vulnerability. But your story of building into the brand it's pretty natural, right? Like your audience for years follows you through this journey. And yours is one of the only brands that I've seen truly that has it's moved beyond itself or beyond even you as a founder. While you're still obviously deeply a key player, it lives on outside and beyond you, which is I think what every kind of founder hopes for and wants. Tell me about the process of launching Divi.
Yeah. So, like I told you, first of all, thank you so much. Those are all just amazing. Like they just made my day. So, thank you for sharing all that. Yeah, so I told you that year I decided I was going to really focus on my overall wellness. I also, I actually went to school to apply to physical therapy school. So I have a minor in biology, studied kinesiology. I'm no doctor, but I understood the basic systems of your body. And so I would go to my bathroom and I wanted to start focusing on my scalp because this was also the year of the dry shampoo. The dry shampoo was like everything. People were just lathering that stuff on. And it was great because you didn't have to wash your hair so much. But at the same time, it's just sitting on your scalp, blocking your hair follicle, just gunking up on there. So I really wanted to focus more on my scalp health. And scalp health was not talked about. The skinification of your scalp, no, I had never heard of that. But I started making little like potions in my bathroom, and I would actually get on my YouTube channel and share, okay, I'm using jojoba oil as a carrier oil. I'm using eucalyptus for this. I'm using tea tree oil to detoxify. I'm using caffeine to stimulate. Like I was sharing just everything I was purchasing online from these sketchy websites, from Whole Foods, and I would just mix it all together and I would sleep with it on every night. And it was so gross, whatever. But people were like, can you please send me that formula? Or can you please, post what you're using? Because it really started to work. And so I went to my husband. I was like, hey, I think I want to just like come up with this product. It wasn't supposed to be a brand or anything. This is actually a story. I don't think I've ever shared this publicly, but I found a company out of New York they did like other skincare, hair care products. And I went to them because I thought they would be great partners. And because I didn't know what I was doing, I've never created like a beauty product. Like, where am I supposed to begin? Like, am I supposed to go in my garage and just start making tonics and shipping them out? Like, that doesn't sound very safe. And so I went to a partner in New York and they said, okay, we'll partner with you. And I told them exactly what I wanted my formula. I needed access to a chemist. I had some vision for like some of the brand, but it really wasn't supposed to be a brand. So it was just like the packaging. And they said, okay, we'll give you 2% of the company. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, it sounds pretty good, but I feel like it should be at least 15%, like, and
Dani, oh my gosh, I'm dying right now.
I had no idea. And they were like, so I went back, I said, how about 15%? They said, no. They said, good luck. And it was the best thing that ever happened to us because I would have taken it. Like I wasn't really thinking of a brand. Like I just wanted to launch this one little tiny product just to help out the girls that needed the help. It was the best thing that ever happened to me because it put me at square one where I had to build this thing all by myself.
So many times, I just want to pause there for a second because first of all, that is wild. And especially because you had an audience when you went there. So many times I'll hear creators, even lately, like there's a big creator the other day and her friend's telling me like, oh yeah, they basically gave her nothing to do this, campaign, but like for the exposure. And I was like, but she is the exposure. Like she's the one bringing the exposure to the project. Like she didn't need exposure. She needed, but like it's wild. And then all the demands. So it's, comes in forms like that. It comes and then like, I'll give you 2% of the company. Like now, luckily we have things like maybe, I don't know, ChatGPT or other that are just some friends, I don't know, go to a lawyer or somebody and be like, is this normal? Because that's super not normal.
Right. But we didn't know. Like, how are you supposed to know? I didn't have any other friends really that were in the industry. And I just don't know if I really had this big picture idea just yet because it was just one product focused on one one issue. And I actually think that really worked to our advantage because I wasn't focused on getting lost in this big brand. It was like one problem at a time. And I feel like that really helped us build. So anyway, we ended up finding this chemist who was amazing. I partnered with him, told him exactly what I wanted. I wanted a formula that was less greasy and had peptides, amino acids. So we launched that serum, and the first year we did like 40 million in sales of this one serum. And the craziest part was it grew so much beyond me because And I think this is where I had the idea of like, this is bigger than me. And I want to step out of this. Like, I don't want to be the face of this brand. Like, I want to be the founder, but I want this to be so much bigger because what was happening was women were using it, men as well. And then they were getting on their Instagrams and their social accounts and posting their before and afters. So the brand was speaking for itself. Like, I didn't even really have to sell it. And I knew, I was like, okay, we're onto something. Like, I had to find this perfect in between of being involved, but also being removed. And so anyway, from there, it's always just been about listening to my audience and listening. I feel like they kind of like help me like co-create the brand, because everything from like testing formulas or fragrance or even colors, whatever, like I run it by them. I run everything by them. I've even had a product that like didn't hit as well. It was like our first iteration of our OG shampoo and conditioner. And I invited all of the girls that like left negative reviews to an event. It was like
Wait. I want you to like unpack that for a second, because this was hilarious actually. But tell this story. I want to tell you guys about this new feature that we just launched on some creators' LTK profiles. So it's in testing right now. So only a few of us have it, but I'm so curious what you think about it. So on my LTK now, there's actually a chat. So if you go in the LTK app and you go to Amber Venz Box, because it's only in the app, you'll actually see on my profile that you can click chat. So I've started a new series there where I'm sharing things that I would have otherwise never shared. So you guys know on my profile, I share with you just like real content of me. So it's either like videos of me or pictures of me, or maybe parties I'm throwing, or like dinner, my like the tabletop that I've made. It's all stuff that like I'm candidly capturing on my phone and I'm sharing with you there. Often there are things that I go buy or do or see that are really interesting, but maybe I don't have time to capture them, or I know they're going to sell out quickly, so I just don't even share it with you. I've made a whole new area on my LTK. If you go into my chats, you can actually see. So this is like, the other day I found like a $6, the cutest kids t-shirt that was on sale for $6. I was like, you guys need to run right now. It's happening right now. I don't have time to like buy that, get it, ship it, shoot it. It'll be over. So I'm telling you that type of stuff. Or I found this like Ralph Lauren looking sweater that is like 10% of the price. Share that with you. Or the stuff I bought last night on Zara. That stuff sells out so fast. So I showed you quickly like what I bought, what I'm planning to do with it. So this is the stuff that candidly would have just never made it to my LTK for a myriad of reasons, but I'm able to quickly share with you there. You can respond. Coming soon, you can actually chat back to me. I'm really excited for the developments of how we're going to invest in that tool. But if you're following me on LTK, you'll actually get notifications when I send chats. And I usually do at least one a day, and I will not waste your time. If I have nothing to say to you, I'm not going to send you a chat. Don't worry about it. But if you're following me, then on the activity tab in the LTK app, you'll be able to see it there. Like it'll be like, Amber just did a chat. Like go check it out, and it'll link you back in. I actually am seeing that my people who are following me there, like y'all are loving what's there. I can see it in the numbers. I can see it in the engagement. I can see what you guys are buying. So I'm really excited to have this new place for you. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to continue kind of testing and sharing more there. Thanks for following.
So we had this OG shampoo and conditioner that just, I have very thin, like fine hair, you can see. And so my hair type is like, I can do heavier things because I need, and actually I have like spirally curly hair too. So anyway, but it didn't fit everyone. It wasn't a one size fit all formula. So I wanted, of course, like the best thing about like kind of being a founder and not having at this time investors, like if I didn't like something, I could just scrap it, do it over again. Like I don't care. I don't have to answer to anyone. Like I want to do it right. And so I had this OG formula, decided to scrap it. And the way that I wanted to fix it was I wanted to talk to everybody that hated it. And I wanted to like listen to what they said. So I went through all of the like, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you on this podcast. I chose some pretty savage people, like people that like, I can't believe that Dani Austin would like this. This made my hair so greasy. Like I followed her for years, you know, that whole thing. And I was like, yep, let's get her in there. Let's get her in there.
You brought the warriors in. I would have killed to have been a fly on the wall of this trip.
Well, let me tell you, Amber, they're always so much nicer in person. And so I basically had a room full of my haters. And I launched this new formula with them. I asked them, you know, we used it on the spot. I said, tell me exactly what you think. If like, I want to hear all of your feedback because I truly do value that feedback. I have zero ego with this. Like, I am not afraid of failing. Like, I know that I'm going to fail. I failed so many times, and I want to fix it now before I get it out on the shelves and maybe partner with a retailer one day and then it's like impossible to fix. So I was like, by you hating on me right now, it's actually helping me. So tell me everything. And yeah, it was like such a scary thing, but at the same time, like I really value the feedback. I mean, of course, you can be a little bit nicer sometimes, but it helps.
That was pretty radical. I feel like you've always had a different approach to marketing, and it doesn't just hit for like broad UGC, which is obviously what you want, is just like your customer out there talking about it. I mean, here's one thing too. I always tell like teams when they're thinking about social media, I'm like, it's not really about your account. It's what every other account is saying about you. And in your case, that hit totally correctly. It was wild, by the way. Before this podcast, I pulled up your Divi because Divi's on LTK. So 2024, the number of LTK posts with Divi grew 237%. So huge year. This year, again, on top of that, it's grown 170%. So on top of that, actually every single hour, someone is posting about Divi on LTK. It's tremendous. It's like not only do the masses like truly love it, but also creators are so enthusiastic because they know their customer is going to love it. So they're also posting it as well, which is what every brand wants, right? So I'm curious, like tell us a little bit more, like bring us into the marketing mind behind Divi.
I mean, I would say with everything I create, I always think of like anything from a reel to an Instagram story to an event, everything is a service. Like nothing is about Divi, nothing is about Dani Austin. It's always about the consumer, it's always about the audience. And I'm just like this lever for wherever we want to go. And I feel like putting our community first has always helped me do that. For example, when we first launched Divi, we had one SKU. Maybe we had three at the time. I think we had shampoo, conditioner, and a scalp serum. And this is 2021. We're working out of my son's unborn nursery. I'm super pregnant. And we had one employee who is still with us, by the way, which is super cool. And I decided, like, we had just launched our scalp serum. That was pretty much it. And I decided I want to do a brand trip. And instead of inviting influencers, which, yeah, probably would have given us a lot more like ROI, I decided, okay, our influencers are going to be our audience and the people, like some of the first people that purchased. So I literally went through like reviews and went through purchases, and I emailed like 10 customers and I was like, hey, do you want to go on an all expenses paid trip as an influencer to Divi? This is before any brand had done like these. People were doing influencer trips, but they hadn't invited like their customers or audience yet. And it was so funny because I invited all these people to be our influencers and like everybody thought it was fake. And so a lot of people wouldn't come because I had to like get on the phone with their husbands and be like, yes, this is real. I promise. This is not a scam. But anyway, yeah, so we eventually got 10 customers out and I just treated them to like the most insane weekend. I had Tarte and all these brands like nudes, like everybody was just donating product for these customers. And I wanted people to know, like, y'all are the influencers, like my audience and my customers, like y'all are my number one. Yes, I'll probably have other fun ways of marketing, but like the community is always first. And I've always thought of that with Divi. And even whenever we're doing like product development, I cannot make a decision without at least getting like probably 50 people's buy-in. Like even if it's like a fragrance, they're like, what do you like it, Dani? I'm like, yeah, I like it, but I want to hear if everybody else likes it too. And so I've just always been very like community oriented like that. I love working with a team to build something.
Yeah. I think the founder vision is so important, and obviously it starts with what you like and need, but whether it's Divi or LTK or any other brand, I think bringing in just doing the consumer work and seeing what people like and what they don't like and their reactions. And our team has been very good at coaching me at that of like, I get that this is the vision. This is what happens when we put it in the wild and how people respond to it. And so there comes a point too, it sounds like early and as you grow to continue that on. One just side note, because scams around influencer are so prevalent right now that I feel like it's worth just like infomercial of yes, influencer scams are out there. Like if you get a company emailing you directly, that's like sign number one. Two, like you can double click and like you can see on their email like who the email actually is from, and sometimes that'll give it away. But realistically, like brands aren't using emails anymore. They're using platforms like LTK to get in touch with you. So that's like, you should be skeptical. Misspelled words, like if they're asking you to buy something first, or they somehow like want your credit card or money, like this is a real thing. It's in like every creator forum. You should be skeptical. Put Dani through a real trip.
That's so true. I had to get on FaceTime with these people, so they knew it was legit.
Okay, well, what's been the hardest part about building Divi?
The most challenging part is I'm so used to, I pivot really fast and I'm always changing. Like the one thing I've always done consistently is show up, but the ways that we show up, like with the Dani Austin brand, are always different. Like, and when you are building a team with Divi, like you can't pivot so fast. And so hiring and team building, although I love like the end product because you have this amazing team and this amazing support, it's so different than like running your own brand. And you have to be very organized and you have to have so many meetings to get on the same page. And communication is so important. And like I said, like when you're just running a little business out of your bedroom, it's totally different. So it was definitely a learning curve there.
Oh yeah. I mean, we see this. I just came out of another meeting and I was like, hey, I just want this like one tweak. Like, I think we could do this thing different in the app. And they're like, great, we'll put it on the Q3 roadmap. And I was like, no, like tomorrow. Like, I want it tomorrow. Like, used to, I could go and like sit over a developer's shoulder. I'm like, here's a cold beer and I'd like this tonight. Like, let me bribe you for it. That the days of that don't work.
The amount of times that I'm like, no, I don't like this part of the packaging or whatever. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll fix that in 2028. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? You have to be so patient and you have to like kind of know what you want going into something, especially when it comes to product development, because it takes so long to change. Like it's wild. It's a different process.
Well, now your team's grown quite a bit, including investors. So you closed a round of funding in November. Will you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what was the process like? I'm curious. I think a lot of creators think about this or think about launching brands, or a lot of our listeners are business owners. And this is like probably my most frequently asked question, is having anything to do with fundraising.
Yeah. So I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really know a lot about this process before we went through it. And so I don't know if my process looks like everybody else's, but when we launched Divi, we started getting a lot of outreach. And I was like, no, I was like, Jordan, don't even entertain. I said, I don't want anybody else's money because I want to make sure that we have something here. Like, I want to make sure that the product is speaking for itself. Like, I want to be able to like launch the SKUs in the order that I want to launch them. I don't want outside influence and I don't want to slow things down. And sometimes I feel like when you throw money at a problem, sometimes you just like miss the actual problem. And I knew I didn't want that. Like if there was a problem with the formula, I want to be able to scrap it and start over, not throw some dollars at it to like have a different message behind the product. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not going to fix it with marketing. Let's fix the product.
No, this is exactly it. When people ask me questions on this, I'm like, investors, and also not always, but I think on the creator side, the one that is like raising the money side of it, it's easier to raise money when you go in and say, hey, I have this thing that's working and here's what that looks like. And if I add some more dollars here, I know this is what the outcome's going to be. Most investors don't want to hear like, hey, I'm going to do this thing or I'm going to launch this thing. They typically don't want to be R&D money. That said, I've also seen tremendous money flowing into both this space and just the larger creator space where they're like, I don't know, creator's big, like it'll land somewhere. And then that's where you see teams light money on fire. Like there was a company in Europe that tried to be the next LTK, raised a ton of money, did like TV commercials, all this stuff. And it was a dumpster fire entirely because they didn't have something that actually worked. And so I want to point that out. And that was something that I think that you were honestly very intuitive about, is like, let's get something that we actually like, because like you're alluding to, when you bring someone else in, even if they own a small portion of the business, they're still sort of your boss. Like you still have to answer when they ask for reports, when they ask for feedback, and then all of a sudden you're spending 4 hours a day writing reports for your investors instead of just like doing the work. So this is a really important piece. And I think, by the way, at this point, you guys owned about 100% of the business. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you guys wanted to wake up tomorrow and do nothing, you could do that. Or if you wanted to wake up and work 24 hours and flip around some boxes and change the color. You could do all of that stuff without sort of permission, which there is insane amount of power in that. So I also, just a coaching moment for everyone listening, like the validation of someone investing you comes at a price. And it is your freedom.
100%. I'm like, you better learn how to build a deck because you're going to be doing a lot of decks once you have investors. No, that's so true. But that was just something that I was not open to for the first kind of 3 years because I kind of just always felt like if my business can't sustain itself, like, and just grow slowly on its own, then we have a different problem that money isn't going to fix. It's a people problem. It's a system problem. There's something else. And I want to be able to identify things. Not only that, but then when I have an investor come in, like, I want to know exactly what we're going to use this money for. And I want to use the money to move forward, not to like fix all my problems. I want it to be fun. And so, and to be honest, like, because Divi was so profitable since day one, we really didn't need it. And so I invested every single dollar back into the business, and gradually it started to grow. And the best part about also not having partners was I could move so slow with the SKUs. And that was always really important to me. I didn't want to have a ton of SKUs. Like I think when we launched into Ulta in like 2021, we had 3 SKUs. That was it. And I loved that because I figured I'm going to have this hero product, which is our scalp serum. And this is how I'm going to earn everyone's trust. And they're going to love this so much because this I put my heart and soul into, and it is the best of the best that I know it can be. And then when I launch the next thing, they're going to love it. And the next thing, they're going to love it. I feel like sometimes you see these brands come in with like 20 SKUs and it's overwhelming. I don't know where to begin. I try a couple things. I don't really like any of them. I don't understand the brand and I'm not bought in, So building kind of slow was a big deal for us. But anyway, yeah, so we started having outreach from day one, ignored for probably 2 or 3 years. And then we had this, once we got into Ulta and we started really building momentum, we just had these like bigger goals that we knew we wanted and we knew that we couldn't do without a team. And so we ended up partnering with Norwest. And I would say like for us personally, we interviewed and worked with so many different groups. But I loved that this team was like all female, and that not only that, but they were also consumers of Divi. Like you can just tell whenever you meet with people. I'm like, these are the type of people that we're speaking the same language, and I could call them on a Friday night at 6 and like they're gonna understand my problem, and we're both on the same page. And then not only that, but like they were super ambitious. Like they wanted to prove. They want to prove themselves too. And I love that. I love like growing and hitting a goal together. And so, yeah, it was a crazy process, but we're so happy with our partners. Like we've only been with them for a little bit, but it's been amazing. It's been amazing to have people that like, now we have this board and we have all these people that like know what they're doing. And it's so comforting to be like, oh my gosh, we're not alone. Wow.
That's good. I have a question too, just in the marketing side and the growth of the business. What do you think were like a few key things that you guys did that created inflection points in the business?
Here's the thing. I don't think that this was not on purpose, but each of our scalp serum restocks would sell out, like, and they truly would, like, and I don't know why, and I kind of already mentioned this, but people just felt obligated to share when they got it. Like they not obligated, but they were like excited. Like they wanted to, I think because it was such a personal conversation going on with scalp health and hair loss, when they found a solution for themselves, they were like, oh my gosh, Susie down the street or my mother-in-law or my friend that's having postpartum hair loss, like I can help them out too. And there was like this solution that everybody wanted to help each other out. And I think that was mainly stemmed from just like the brand being born from like a vulnerable place, maybe. But I would just say like the social feedback that we got was huge, and it has always been that way. I remember I was at the nail salon, and this was back in like 2021 when people were still wearing masks, and someone had like a Divi mask on, and I went up and I was like, oh my gosh, like Divi, like, and they were like, who are you? I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is way bigger. It's just crazy. So yeah.
Well, you've been in the creator economy for a long time. Obviously, creators play a role in the growth of this business too. I'm curious what you're seeing right now, both as a brand, as a creator. What do you think that brands and creators need to be paying attention to kind of in this moment of the creator economy?
I've always focused on going really deep with my audience instead of going so wide. And I feel like if you go deep, you end up growing wide as well, which when I say that, I mean like really focusing on the audience that you have instead of always trying to garner this new audience. I always have like different goals for different pieces of content. A lot of times I would say like 80% of my content is to just take care of the girls in the community that I have. And maybe 20% is more of like, oh, maybe this is a sound or a trend that will go viral, or maybe this is something that kind of fits into the culture, something that's culturally relevant. But for the most part, I would say like I've always tried to do something unique and different and kind of go against the grain. Like if everybody's going this direction, I'm like, okay, how can I take that one little bit like piece that's working and put like our own spin on it? And maybe take that trend but make it vulnerable, or maybe take this conversation and make it funny, whatever it is. I just feel like my biggest fear was like looking around. Like I know that meme that went viral with all of us in our hair extensions and the Christian girl summer or Christian girl autumn is like funny, but like I was like, this is exactly what I need to stay away. Not the girls, obviously they're amazing, but just like trying to blend in and be like everyone else. And so it took me a while to learn that, but that's something that I'm kind of always focused on.
Yeah. How do you think LTK has played a role in both kind of the creator side of your business and the brand side of your business?
Oh my gosh, LTK was everything for me starting out. It was the first time, like I said, I was like so empowered to share what I actually loved. And people get sick of brand deals and they get sick of these partnerships because they can tell sometimes it's not authentic. And there'll be like weeks where I just take breaks off of my my brand deals and I'm like, I'm just gonna do LTK and genuinely share what I'm using in that day, whether it's a pack of batteries that I ordered online or a new mug or this small business I found, or I'm a Nordstrom girl. I buy like so much stuff from Nordstrom, whatever it is, it's like extremely empowering. And people know that it's authentic. And people also know, okay, it's an LTK link. They understand that like there was a lot of work put into that and they want to support you too. They want to support your platform. They want to shop from you because they know how much work was put into it. And I love that. I think the coolest thing about LTK is like you can have, I mean, just like 1,000 loyal followers and just kill it on LTK. Like you don't need a lot. Like you don't need a bajillion followers to be successful on the platform. Like you just need people that know that you are sharing from a genuine, authentic place. And it's so funny, like the things that sometimes like people end up love clicking on. It's like the most random things. It's never really what you would think. It's never like the floral sundress. It's like this screw. I've been looking forward to replace this in my bathroom. Everybody's like, I needed that screw too. Like it's just so random. But like I said, it's not only that, but like having all that data to understand my audience and understand their price points, what they're shopping, the colors that they like. Like I would say that helped a lot when I launched Divi. Like I understood my audience's purchasing patterns, even the times that they would shop and they would be online clicking. Like that helps a lot, just all of that information.
So one of the things I always tell people whenever they're starting a business and they are a creator is like being a creator is your strategic advantage or your competitive advantage. You have a group of people who are, coming back to you that you've built this trust and relationship with, and then they launch a business and that business takes a lot of their bandwidth, right? And so like as a creator, let's be nice. Let's say we have 24 hours in a day. Obviously we don't, but like time is like the limiting, constraint in your business. And so if you're taking out half of what you're doing as a creator to go do the brand side, it's a whole other second job. But you've done a wonderful job of continuing to be a creator through this because that's what got you here, right? And that's the advantage piece. I do think people underestimate how much, even if you have an operating team to begin with, or even if you bring a partner to begin with, how much time and just even like emotional capacity it can take to do that side. What would you say is something that people misunderstand or miscalculate about being a creator who does, run a full scale brand?
Yeah, it's super challenging. I always tried to share the behind the scenes, whether it was like through vlogging or, going into the office, because it was such a different world. And I think people really wanted to see behind the scenes. But I think what's so cool about Divi is that, and I don't know if people understand this that follow me, but it's just grown so much beyond me. And but I think one of the biggest reasons is because of our team and because of hiring. Like, we have a team of female scientists that work in-house that help us develop all of our products. Our head of product development came from Nutrafol. She is like a genius. We sit down once a week and we go through like my dreams and these products that I want to create and product packaging and all of this, like this vision that we kind of have. And then they take it and run with it. And they're doing all the clinicals and testing. And so at this point with Divi, I am involved at that high of a level. I wasn't at first. Let me tell you, like the first 2 years were so brutal. And I feel like with a lot of startups, people or business, and probably like you probably feel this too. There's like 2 or 3 years there that are like, I don't remember very much. It was such a whirlwind where you are just grinding like so hard. Not only that, but we had like 3 babies in 4 years. And so and it was all around that time as well. And so, but at this point, I think what's so great is I've been able to kind of take this like higher level now, and I'm mainly focused on product development, high marketing or high level marketing, like very high level, not really in the weeds of that anymore. And then product packaging and just mainly development, which has been so great. So that's why I think people feel like I have a little bit more balance. It's because I honestly, I really do, just because our team has been amazing.
And your husband is involved too with the brand. Is that right?
Yes, Jordan has been involved since day one. He's actually kind of like our interim CEO right now. We're kind of on the search for another CEO, especially because like the first, I think 2022, I was like, I didn't see my husband Jordan for like a year, because that was when we were really building. We were trying to get into an office and we were hiring so much. So yeah, he's kind of like he's stepped into the CEO role right now.
Yeah. It's awesome too for you guys to have that kind of finger on the pulse, but wonderful to be able to also step out, feel the focus on family, because certainly that is, there's a lot going on. I did a similar thing where I had 4 kids while building this business, and it is weird because you sort of like black out these periods, and I'm like, they are periods of such high productivity, and it's at the most like unexpected time, right? Like you've got these tiny little people and you're not sleeping at all, but somehow you're just like pedaling faster than ever in your life. I don't know how to personally explain it, but it was just, I think, some of the most like 24-hour hyper focused years of my life. And it's nice if you can, get someone else in the business who can be an expert and has experience in that thing, so that you can ultimately, I think the ultimate luxury is like having margin in your life, which is, I think, what you're describing with Jordan.
Yeah, and to be totally honest with you, I took 2 months off last fall, and the reason being is because I don't know if you've struggled with this, but I was running at such this like insane pace, like you said, 24-hour work. Like after 5, like I couldn't slow down because there was still so much to be done. I put so much pressure on myself that I had a really hard time slowing down, where I literally had to be like, okay, I am putting my phone into this drawer and I'm not coming back for a month. I was taking a month off, and then it actually turned into 2 months because I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing I ever did. It was so hard because Divi had to make a lot of decisions for me, and I like didn't have control again, and I wasn't posting on Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, when I come back, is anybody going to care about Divi or about this brand that we've built? And they did. And I think people understand it and they respect it, especially it being female and being, other moms. They totally understand. And so it is possible to take that step. It's scary, but it was honestly the best thing I ever did, because I had a really hard time slowing down.
How did you pull some of your learnings from those 2 months through to your life now? Because you seem glowy, happy, healthier than probably I've ever seen you.
I mean, the biggest thing was like, I am a mom and I like my family is first, and business will fit into all the other open spaces. And so I just have these like non-deliverable, like non-negotiables with family time, whether it's taking my kids to school or packing their lunch or whatever. Like those things, they might seem small, but those are the moments that actually bring me joy. Like, I don't want the really flashy moments with my kids. I want like the trashy moments with my kids. I want the moments where like I'm putting their shoes on and we're rushing out the door. And like, those are the moments that I'm going to cherish and like really wish that I had. And those are like the character building moments of your life too with your kids. That's when you get to teach them about patience or about this is how you tie your shoe. This is whatever it is, not the moments where you get to take them to the mall and do something fun, you know? And so I just had to really I had to learn how to prioritize those trashy moments. Sorry, I used the word trashy. I don't know.
Oh, I love that. It's actually perfect. And it's perfect in your context, Dani, because if anyone doesn't follow you, which I'd be surprised if that's true, but if they don't, like when you watch Dani, like raw is not even the word. You've like redefined raw. Like everything is shared and on limits and every topic of conversation. But I totally agree with you that like my kids, they honestly, some of them like it when I take their picture because I bribe them well, but other ones don't. And like, that's not the memory that they want of like the pretty birthday party or the nice outfit for the Easter thing. Like they really want the trashy, messy attention. And the way that I've found to solve that is literally calendaring it, which I know sounds psychotic, but then I know it's there. I know it's going to happen and nothing else can happen. And I treat it like a meeting in the same way I would treat anything else in my life, which helps me to at least feel okay about all the time I'm spending in front of the screen.
Yeah, I love what you said. Just keeping it simple and learning to say no so that you can have those moments. And sometimes those moments are just like rotting on the sofa with my kids and snuggling them. But like, oh, it's so good. And so, I mean, honestly, just kind of shifting my perspective that way has helped everything else just kind of fall into place.
What's next for Divi?
Well, I want to go international really bad. International, our partnership with Ulta. We're in Ulta, all Ultas. We are in Ulta by Target. So really just digging deep on our relationship with Ulta. They've been like the most amazing partners. And they've treated us so well. We've done a couple of exclusive launches with them. We have some more of those coming up. A lot of innovation, product innovation. There's a lot of problems I still want to solve, like these little gray hairs that keep coming out and are bothering me. So a lot of science innovation moving forward. And then once again, like I said, international is like the ultimate goal.
What's your piece of advice to younger Dani?
Oh, younger Dani. I was always so insecure. But honestly, younger Dani had this like insane amount of grit that sometimes I wish younger Dani could come and give me a little pep talk. Like she had some insane grit. But yeah, just telling her that she's good enough. Like she doesn't have to try so hard. Like she's okay and good and perfect just the way that she is.
I love that, Dani. Thank you for being here. What an amazing episode. I'm so excited for everyone to get to listen to this and hear it. I know, like we've been friends for a long time. I know these stories and I feel like we had such great stuff come out today that I don't know that I've ever heard you talk about. And this is just wonderful advice. I know if anyone has any questions for you or wants to continue the conversation, I have no doubt they'll be able to find you and have that dialogue. Do you want to tell everyone where to follow you?
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram or TikTok. We're on TikTok these days at Dani Austin. And then Divi is sold online, diviofficial.com, and then also at all Ultas.
And your LTK is?
I think it's Dani Austin. Yeah.
Right, well, thanks, Dani.
Thank you so much for having me, Amber. I appreciate it.
You can listen to More to Say on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And I'd love to hear from you. Share your comments and questions in the reviews section, or you can reach me at Amber Venz Box on LTK, Instagram, or LinkedIn.